All right, thank you so much. And I'm just going to apologize ahead of time for my voice sounding a little crazier than normal. I am dealing with some congestion, so bear with me. All right, so for today's conversation, we'll spend some time just briefly talking about myself, which I'm sure you guys are very excited about. Then I'll share a little bit about rezStream in the event that you guys haven't heard of us before. Then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of why you're all here, which is talking about how you can leverage Google and some of the different tools that they provide. I'll share a quick case study of rezStream helping out a customer by taking advantage of some of the things we'll be talking about today. And then we'll do a brief recap. And then there's a quick special offer for you all if you're interested in partnering up with us. All right, so about me, I am the VP of Customer Delivery. I've been with rezStream since 2010. On a personal note, I really enjoy just spending some time with my family. I feel like I've become a little bit of a social hermit these days where having nights at home and just relaxing are way more exciting than going out. I really enjoy spending time with my daughter and just reading books to her and traveling new places. There's a picture of my husband and I because we're absolutely terrible about taking pictures with one another. So a selfie is the best that I could bring to the table for today's conversation. And then, I am pregnant and expecting our second child here in a few weeks, which is crazy how quickly the time has flown by. All right. So about rezStream, we have, really kind of taken upon ourselves to partner up and focus on independently owned properties in the U.S. We really view ourselves as being an extension of your team, even if we may not necessarily be on site with you. We have around 24 team members. So we like to consider ourselves also a small business helping out other small businesses. And really kind of what our, bread and butter is the reservation software, which is our cloud PMS. We have digital marketing services that we can provide to properties as well as website design services. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you'll have some contact information presented at the end of today's webinar. But we are that one-stop shop if you're looking for any of those things. And we really do believe that every property does need all of that to be able to run effectively and continue to grow. All right. So let's just talk about Google. And so just to kind of kick things off, I wanted to share some background because there's been lots of talk about, not only just Google search, but then there's this whole Google travel. And then, you might have heard about Google hotels. And so I wanted to kind of just give some background on what all of that means. So, Google search is going to be that search engine where you go to google.com, you type in whatever it is that you're looking to find information on, and then you're able to locate that information by clicking on a variety of websites that Google generates for you. Google Travel is Google's online tool where they basically have pulled in a lot of different things in order to make that whole travel planning process that much easier. The only thing that you really can't book from Google Travel is car rentals. So Google Travel really has been around for quite some time. And, the way that I view it is they kind of birthed Google Hotels, which I know maybe in the last couple of years has really kind of caught some buzz and seems new and exciting, but surprisingly, it's actually been around since 2011. It was actually known as Google Hotel Finder, if that rings a bell for anybody. But Google Hotels in a nutshell is a meta search engine that allows searchers, like Google's customers, to be able to search and book properties online, specifically kind of in that hotel market. So, what a meta search engine is it allows those customers to be able to view different properties, and it allows you to actually see prices or rates associated with those properties coming from a variety of platforms. That includes the property's direct website, or any OTAs that they may be partnering up with, like Expedia, Booking.com. Airbnb is not something that is integrated at this time, but all the other major kind of OTAs that come to mind are supported through that Google Hotels integration. So the reason why this is such a big thing and such, a piece of technology that we really would encourage you all to kind of take a closer look at is it can certainly assist with increasing your property's visibility in Google. And assuming that, you have the right PMS provider, it certainly can also help you acquire more direct reservations, which are ultimately going to be the most cost effective for you, versus having to rely on the OTAs, which can charge a nice amount of money for anything that they refer your way. So just to kind of help paint the picture of what this landscape all looks like, you have here in green, this is referred to as the local pack. The local pack is really going to be the local listings, specifically referred to as Google Business Listing. That is Google's local listing platform that we'll talk about here in a bit. But that really is where you're able to kind of get that placement in that local pack for those potential guests to find out about your property, see pictures, get contact details, look at reviews, things of that nature. In the blue that I've highlighted here, which actually is showing the rates and availability associated to some of these properties, that is where the Google Hotels integration kind of comes into play. So Google is always going to want to give their customers as much information as possible for them to be able to have the best experience with Google. And so therefore, if you not only having a Google business listing is critical, but now if you don't have any sort of Google Hotels integration in place where you're able to showcase your rates and availability, you really are at a disadvantage from showing up on this first page when people are looking for lodging in your area. And then in red below here, you can see that's the traditional, what I refer to as organic listings. And the organic listings is really going to be fueled by search engine optimization, focused on, your website pages. So I think that's where we'll leave off for now. The next, what I want to kind of go into more detail on is Google Business. So again, focusing on maybe bringing some awareness on how you can take advantage of Google Business to kind of get this first piece in place. And then we'll talk a little bit more about Google Hotels, where the rates and availability come into play. So if you all do not have a Google Business listing, you absolutely should. The only exception for properties that may not be able to have one is if they have one-off vacation rental listings with unique addresses. Otherwise, if you have, a brick and mortar property location, you should have the ability to go in and create a business listing for your business. So if you're unsure of where to go, here's the link, the URL that you're going to want to type into your browser and just to get started. They recently made some changes to, that whole platform in terms of how you access it. So it might be a little confusing for you guys that already have an existing listing and are wanting to make some changes to your listing after today's conversation. So you can still access your listing using this URL, signing in. But from there, it's almost going to look like you're in Google search results, which is going to probably catch you off guard, but just scroll down and you'll actually see this nice little dashboard here that will give you some options to be able to click in to edit certain features of your listing. And from there, that's where, starting with this edit profile button, you're going to want to make sure you start adding your business's information and filling that out as much as you possibly can. So depending on your primary category, basically how you view your property, whether it's a hotel, bed and breakfast, boutique hotel, whatever that might be, depending on the options that Google provides, you're able to select, but then from there, Google really will provide the listing features that come along with that primary category for you to be able to fill out. But, every business, once they're added on there, should have the ability to edit your business name, edit your physical address, and the phone number. So those are very, very important to have on your listing and added, and you're promoting them. You also want to make sure that those details match your website. It is not going to be a good trust signal if you are, wanting to call yourself this on Google Business, and then you have something completely different on your website. And it might sound super picky, but I mean, spacing, capitalization, all that stuff needs to be exactly how you have it on your website, and you're promoting that on your Google Business listing. Because again, those are just really great ways for Google to feel nice and comfortable and trusting of the information that you're providing to them. So yeah, the other thing that I'll make note of is with the phone number. Maybe you have an 800 number out there. Do not lead with that. You have the option to add a couple different pieces of contact information, but you always want to lead with your local information first and foremost when you're filling out this local listing. So lead with your local phone number, and then if you do have an 800 number, you can add a secondary phone number to your listing to promote. So yeah. And then the business category, which is another important, piece of optimizing your listing. You want to make sure you have something filled out there. There's a couple different options for you to be able to select from. So pick whatever you feel best represents your property. I will say, for the sake of maybe how your business is set up, or you just trying to leverage Google Hotels, which we'll talk about in a bit, those properties that are traditional, vacation rental listings with individual addresses for those individual units, that's going to be much more challenging for you to have a Google Business listing as well as participate in Google Hotels. So I just wanted to be as upfront as possible on that. Let's see here. And then the website URL, which is also highlighted here. You want to make sure that you add that. I have a slide here in a little bit. You'll notice that we have some additional characters going on here. And that's really for you to be able to take advantage of some additional tracking if you're looking at your Google Analytics account on a pretty consistent basis. So we'll talk more about that. But you do definitely want to promote your website URL, because that's what's going to allow people to click through to your website after your local listing displays in that local pack for those customers to learn more about. All right, those are absolutely critical. And then again, I would just go through every single tab that they give you and fill them out as much as possible. Even the opening date, whatever they're giving you an opportunity to provide information about, take advantage. So on that, there's a couple things that I feel like come to mind that maybe aren't super straightforward in terms of listing optimization opportunities. So I wanted to make sure I share some of those with you today. The first one is, again, just fully leaning in and understanding what opportunities that you have when it comes to Google Business to be able to promote as much information to those potential travelers or guests of yours. And so one feature I feel like is very underrated, that we tend not to see a lot of our clients taking advantage of, is the questions and answers section that's tied to your listing. Many people don't know, but you actually have the ability to go in and post your own questions as well as respond to those questions. So what we like to do is ask our clients, hey, what are some frequently asked questions that you feel like everybody just really needs to know about your property? And then adding that information to the Google Business listing. It also is a great way for you to maybe identify some pieces of content that are missing from your website. So if we get a laundry list of things and none of that information is found on our clients' websites, that's a good indicator for us. Wow, we really need to spend some time in finding a home for all of these great details, because clearly people need them in order to feel nice and comfortable to book. So yeah, there's a couple different things that can kind of obviously come out of those conversations, but yeah, look at the questions and answers section tied to your Google Business listing and add, 3 to 5. Also make sure that you're monitoring other questions that maybe potential customers are posting so that those questions are addressed in a timely manner. And again, that information can be useful to others that maybe don't necessarily know how to post those questions to your listing, but can at least view them. The other comment that I wanted to make regarding the Google Business listing and just some best practices: make sure that you're responding to every review if you can. I know that seems like a very daunting task. So if you cannot respond to every review, definitely prioritize the negative ones within 24 hours. But it is a very positive signal to send to Google to show that there's nice engagement on your listing. And so you want to make sure that the responses are thoughtful, and people feel appreciated for taking the time to submit their review. But yeah, if you can, it would be very, very highly encouraged for you to respond to every review, just to maximize engagement and to send those positive signals to Google. The other one is encouraging guests to upload images along with sharing reviews. So, you absolutely should, if you're not already, after a guest checks out, encouraging them to go to places like Google or go to TripAdvisor or Facebook. But, I think to kind of take it a step further beyond just saying, hey, can you go here and submit this review to let people know how great of a stay you had, asking them to maybe share an image or two when they're uploading those reviews can really go a long way. It's a little bit more impactful. And again, it sends a little bit of a stronger signal to Google when it's not just text, but it's text and imagery. It also gives, your listing more content for people to view. So all of those things are going to be things that Google really likes. The last thing here is promoting unique imagery over stock. So I know this probably seems pretty straightforward, but as much as possible when you're uploading images to your listing, which you absolutely should be doing, and being mindful of what those images are, so that if there are really old ones, you're removing, but if there's any new ones, you're uploading, to just make sure that you're putting your best foot forward in how you're presenting your property. But don't rely on stock imagery. I know it can be tempting. And stock imagery is great. It's definitely super helpful if you're kind of low on content to be able to select from, but it's not the go-to. And Google does recognize if you're uploading stock imagery. Your customers or potential customers are going to recognize if it's stock imagery. It is very obvious. So when you can, lean in and, make a point to capture great imagery from your property and promote that not only on your website, but also your Google business listing. All right, so I kind of talked a little bit about this, but I just wanted to circle back to make sure everybody felt really nice and comfortable. So when it comes to you adding in your website URL on your Google business listing, which we had that screenshot earlier, we recommend adding some additional tracking to that website URL, because if you just simply add your website URL without these tracking parameters that look probably a little scary, you really are not going to have a way looking at your Google Analytics data to determine what exactly that listing is doing for you in terms of website visitors, online bookings, online revenue. So you can literally just copy and paste this whole tracking URL query string and just add it to the end of your website URL and implement that on your Google business listing. Once that's in place, assuming Google approved that, you should be good to be able to start seeing that data come through in your Google Analytics account. So this is a screenshot of one of our customers that we implemented that for. Very, very helpful, and it really just shows the value of this local listing. So in this example below, you can see for the time period that we were evaluating, close to 11,000 visitors access the property's website from that local listing by clicking on that website icon. And they were able to capture 236 online bookings, totaling a little over 243,000 in online revenue. That doesn't include phone calls, emails, anything like that. So this is not only a reminder of you to make tracking a priority in all of your different marketing activities, but also making sure that you're leveraging an analytics platform to be able to tell you what all of those efforts are doing for you, so you know if they're working, if they're not working. This also might be a good time to shout out that, this is an example of Google Analytics Universal platform. Google Analytics also has a new platform that they'll be more or less forcing you to use come July 2023. So make sure that if you haven't already, you're taking steps to proactively get that new GA4 account set up so that you're not completely lost come July 2023. And the beauty about GA4 is that these tracking parameters that you see here, all of that will continue to be supported in that new tracking platform, which is nice because there's a lot of changes coming with GA4, and this is one that you don't have to worry about. So no changes will need to be made in order for you to continue seeing performance of your Google business listing between Universal and GA4 using this little tracking query. All right. Now I wanted to move on and talk a little bit about Google Hotels. So we've already kind of set that Google business listing up. That's the first thing. That's the most important thing that you need. And then you can look at taking advantage of Google Hotels. And that's going to allow you to have the ability to promote rates and availability on your Google business listing. And so the screenshot that I have here is showing you when you click into a property listing, you can see that you're in Google Travel, specifically Google Hotels with that URL. And then you have all of these different booking options that are presented under the sponsored or the all options sections. I'll go into more detail about that here in a bit, but I just wanted to kind of make you aware that Google Hotels, that's really kind of what it's able to bring to the table with all of this other stuff. that is funneled, through that Google business listing that we've hopefully already set up and have fully optimized. So you'll be able to see here, I just wanted to kind of call out a couple things. There's a variety of OTAs that are trying to pull this potential traveler in by showing their rates and availability and, of course, promoting the different sources. But then you also can see this property has their own direct booking opportunity that they're trying to hopefully acquire that direct booking from that guest, even though they may be a little lower here in terms of listing options. So one kind of major call out that I did want to comment on with the meta search engine kind of technology and space is you got to kind of come with your best rate to really win. So you can see here in the example, if I were a customer, I'm going to be looking at where I can get the best deal. So paying $109 when I can pay $106, even if it's just a couple dollar difference, my eyes are automatically going to kind of go to that as my preferred booking option. So just wanted to make it very clear that if you are taking advantage of the Google Hotels integration, rates and what you're putting out there, and also how that compares to maybe what you're promoting on those OTA listings that you may be participating, can play a huge difference in terms of your overall success. But nonetheless, this is helping this property get more visibility in Google search results, and with them promoting their own direct booking option, it certainly is assisting with them creating more direct booking opportunities. All right, so in order to get some real estate here, there's going to be two options between the green and the red space, and that's where I'm going to talk a little bit about free booking links and Google Hotel ads. So the free booking links and Google Hotel ads, ultimately both of them, as I mentioned, are going to help you get more visibility in Google search results because you're providing Google with more information. You'll increase your chances of getting direct bookings. You'll be able to compete more with the OTAs. I mentioned earlier too, Airbnb is not integrated. You'll also be able to own that entire guest journey, from being able to encourage them to make a reservation with you within Google search results, or, also leading them into your booking engine. But in regards to free booking links, this is where it's going to matter who your PMS vendor is and what capabilities they provide. So one thing I would recommend is reaching out to your PMS provider and asking if they offer free booking links as an option. Free booking links is going to give you placement here under the all options category. So not the sponsor, we'll talk about that here in a bit, that's completely different. But the all options, this is free booking links. And what's nice about it is there is no cost associated to visitors clicking on here or booking through that free booking links to the property. So it's a nice little freebie that Google kind of threw, to the lodging industry. And so it's definitely something we strongly recommend taking advantage of to be able to get more of those direct reservations. Now, every single PMS provider kind of has their own setup fee, maybe that's involved, or there's ongoing management or reporting. The nice thing about free booking links, depending on what that setup is, most of the time it's pretty low maintenance. It's not like you're having to manage a completely separate channel like Expedia or Booking.com. It should be fairly easy just to kind of plug and play, because it's simply pulling in your direct booking engine rates and availability. So again, not a lot of management in terms of taking on another channel. So yeah, this is a nice place to definitely start. And again, just wanted to call out that it is under the all options. And for those people that are using rezStream's professional cloud PMS subscription, this is something that's already included. So you should be already seeing yourself display under that section. If you're not able to see your rates and availability, there may be a Google business configuration issue, but feel free to get in touch with our support team and we can kind of take a closer look at that. So let's see here. Oh. Okay, so then Google Hotels ads, just similar warning, not every single vendor may provide Google Hotel ads as well as free booking links. So you'll just want to have those conversations with whoever your property management system vendor is and see, again, if there's any setup fees, management, what reporting looks like, all that good stuff before you get started. But then Google Hotel ads, at least the way that it works, here at rezStream is, again, very low maintenance because it's pulling in your direct booking engine rates and availability. But the advantage here is that you're getting higher placement. So people are not having to look down as far, which is going to be huge. It also gives you a second placement to be able to advertise your rates and availability. So anytime Google gives you a chance to show up more than once, I always say, try to take advantage of that. So Google Hotel ads has been very effective for a lot of our customers with having that additional placement. There's also some bells and whistles that will come with that ad campaign that you're running, like this example here where you can promote a deal. You can have additional control over maybe when you want to spend the money to show up under the sponsored section. So the campaign itself is what ends up having a cost associated with it. So free booking links is free, almost like think of it like anytime you get a click, anytime you get visibility, that's free. Google Hotel ads, you're paying to participate, and how that's structured is really going to be dependent upon the PMS vendor. There's a couple different options. There's a pay-per-click, meaning anytime somebody clicks on this sponsored listing option, then you get charged a small fee. What that fee is going to be dependent on your budget, competition, all that good stuff. Or there's another commission structure where anytime a reservation is referred by Google from this sponsored section, you're paying X percent in commission. And unfortunately, all of that is going to be dictated by a combination of Google ads as well as your PMS vendor. rezStream only offers the pay-per-click option, and the reason being is it really just allows us to feel like we can have more control over our customers' budget. The customers don't have to commit to forking out 15-20% in commissions for every reservation. It also gives you flexibility to turn stuff on, off, and increase and decrease that spend based on your comfort level and, of course, performance. So the Google Hotel ads is an ad campaign. Therefore, there is an additional budget required in order for you to play. But it can be extremely beneficial, especially when you're having to compete against a variety of OTAs. If you're not doing a lot of OTAs advertising, like you don't have a lot of channels that you're managing, it may not be as fruitful because, again, you're going to be the only option here, assuming you're already getting that free booking links to real estate. So the Google Hotel ads can be very effective when you are managing multiple OTAs. And maybe depending on kind of your location, if it's highly competitive. All right. So then talking a little bit about some best practices when it comes to either of these, free booking links or Google Hotel ads. You want to offer at least a full year of availability. This is what allows you to have the most opportunity for your rates and availability show up as a booking option. So if you're not promoting a good 12 months out, that's something maybe you should start to do. Otherwise, you may be cutting yourself short, not only when it comes to just this stuff, but in general. You want to make sure that booking engine is live and working 24/7 for you. And this is another positive signal that Google's really going to like, because it's going to give them that much more information about your property to be able to serve up on that first page. We talked about this already, but promote rate parity, or your best rate in your booking engine. So I'm not here to say you should, offer a better rate, on your direct booking website compared to your OTAs, but it can be very effective. And the properties that do it tend to perform very well, not only in meta, but also in acquiring more direct reservations. So do whatever you feel comfortable doing. At the end of the day, you just want to make sure that your rate, your own direct rate, is not worse than what you're promoting on the OTAs. This is an example of a property going wrong. They probably thought they had it all together with the 239 rate for these dates, but then, oops, there's this OTA that somehow is bypassing that and is able to show the 173 rate, which is obviously going to get way more clicks than any of these others. So make sure that even if you think that you're promoting rate parity, do some double checking, do your own searches, confirm that what you're seeing on those listings in Google is exactly what you would expect to see based on what changes you're making on your PMS or in your channel manager. All right. I think for everyone that maybe isn't, taking advantage of all these things, a great place to start is just, getting your feet wet with free booking links first. And again, use Google Analytics to be able to help you understand what that's doing for you. Free booking links, if that is really working out for you in terms of just capturing website traffic, online bookings, revenue, all that good stuff, and you really like what you're seeing, then hey, let's talk about spending some money and really amping things up with Google Hotel ads. So if you don't have the budget in place right now, or you just are feeling a little skeptical, start out with the free booking links first, and then monitor and go from there based on the data that you're seeing for your property. I already talked about this, but make sure you're using Google Analytics to track performance for everything, not only with your Google business listing and Google free booking links and Google Hotel ads, but all the other advertising campaigns that you're running out there. And to reference how to kind of get going with GA4, we have this support article. You want to make sure that you're following that and implementing those things so you can see all this great data, including website visitors, as well as online bookings and revenue coming from your website and booking engine. So if you're a rezStream Cloud PMS customer, make a point to look over this article and reach out to support if you have any questions along the way. And then the last kind of best practices, take advantage of as much as you possibly can when it comes to Google. You may not necessarily have the budget, and that's really where having a good digital marketing vendor partner is going to come into play with kind of guiding you through where to start first versus last. But between pay-per-click advertising, Google Business, Google Hotels, traditional SEO for you to maximize your organic listing placement, the opportunities are endless, and the more that you're able to take advantage, the more opportunity you have to dominate. So this is just highlighting a couple of those different programs here, and how you can really capture some great real estate if you're doing things correctly and you're doing them effectively. All right. So just a quick case study, just kind of paint a picture of how this has worked out. We work with a property that's seasonal. They do marketing year round. They promote their booking engine year round. They have their website on year round. So they're not shutting anything off, but they have a season that they're accepting guests only from April through January. And they really came to us wanting to get help on finding ways to acquire more direct reservations, knowing that they had these OTA partnerships to be able to leverage if they needed to kind of fill in some of those slower periods. So we immediately got them on the cloud PMS. We had them work with our website design team on putting together a website. And then we started going full blown with the marketing services, including SEO, paid advertising, social media, blogging, email remarketing, and more. So when Google Hotels came around, we immediately wanted to jump on that, got them set up, got them connected. That's where we were able to see, wow, this thing is very powerful and it's been very effective for them. How can we maximize and try to get even more out of this technology and that real estate that Google's giving us? And so naturally, from the positive performance that we saw come from the free booking links, we then launched a Google Hotel Ads campaign. And that's where we were able to bring in an additional 38 direct bookings, totaling a little over 38,000 in revenue, while spending a little over 58. So a return on ad spend of about 650, which is pretty positive. So everyone was happy with that. All right. So to recap today's webinar, just a couple things that I just wanted to hit you with again is make sure that you have a Google business listing. If not, go out there, create one, get it verified, optimize the heck out of it, take advantage of all those different listing features that Google's providing. I gave you some, best practices earlier on, but don't just stop there. Hit it as hard as you possibly can. Talk to your PMS vendor to see, what they support. Do they offer free booking links? Do they offer Google Hotel Ads? Do they offer one, not both? What are the fees associated with that? What makes sense for your business to be able to take advantage of now? And, start implementing those integrations to help you with those direct bookings. Invest in your own brand's presence. So stop, relying on the OTAs and these third-party channels. Spend the time, spend the resources on investing in your brand. And there's plenty of tools out there for you to be able to do that. Whether that's Google Business, Google Ads, free booking links, and Google Hotel Ads. Set up your analytics account, look at that data, make sure that you're holding yourself accountable by looking at it and making decisions off of that data. If you don't have the time, you're too overwhelmed, which majority of our customers are, we here at rezStream can help you out because we do this stuff 5 days a week and we absolutely love it. So lean on us to do that heavy lifting for you. Set up GA4 using that help article I shared earlier, if you're a Cloud PMS customer of rezStream's. And I think that is it. If you have any questions, you can get in touch with us here. And then just a reminder with the Education Center, we're always trying to do our best with promoting great information. So check out that on rezstream.com. And then the special offer today is the 20% off elite level marketing programs, which is a really hands-on marketing program that we've developed over the years to create kind of customized plans for properties to meet those business goals of theirs. So with that, Lyles, I guess I can turn it over to you.
No, I think that's awesome, Liz, and I really appreciate you spending the time to go through Google and all the different opportunities that were out there for us. I think what I liked most was the 650% return on ad spend. I think that's awesome. So I think I need to open up a property and sign up myself because that's phenomenal results. you and your team put forward here. I want to take some time here before everybody goes just to field some questions that came through here. If you didn't have a chance, please do submit any questions that you may have for Liz. A perfect opportunity for her to share some specifics with you or take that conversation offline. For our marketing clients on the call, thank you for joining. Obviously, our team's already on these things, on top of them for you. We've either already been in communication with you or we'll be doing that in the short future here. Liz, just to kick things off, a couple questions here. First one, what's the most cost associated, what's the cost associated with rezStream's free booking links?
Oh, yeah. So yeah, if you're a Cloud PMS professional user, this is something that's already kind of built into that program. So I don't want to use the word free, but it's already kind of built into that package. So if you're on basic or standard, maybe reach out to our sales team, sales@rezstream.com, to kind of do the math on what that would take in order for you to take advantage of that free booking links. But all the professional users are able to take advantage of that if they don't have it up or running already.
I appreciate that. And obviously for non-rezStream users, the biggest opportunity here would be evaluating our reservation software and the connection that we already have in place for Google to provide that to you for free. So if that's something you have interest in, we have free trials. You can schedule a demo and our team could chat with you about that. Another question for you, Liz. What is a good budget for Google hotel ads?
Yeah, so I hate saying this because I think a lot of people roll their eyes, but it really just depends on the property and kind of what they have going on. What I will say though is with Google hotel ads, meta search in general, anytime you're having to spend money using leveraging that meta search technology, you can get by with, at least our experience has been, you can get by with less of a budget than the traditional paid search ad campaigns that maybe you would be managing using Google ads or Bing ads. Not to say that those are less effective, it's just they tend to be a little more expensive depending on some of the different terms and keywords that you're wanting to go after. So with meta search, specific to Google hotel ads, we've seen budgets anywhere from 200 all the way up to 1,000. So it really can vary. So that's where working with that vendor is really going to be helpful to make sure that you're giving yourself ample opportunity to be able to meet those goals.
And on the same line, this is an extended question I have for you, Liz, for the group. Is it safe to say that testing free booking links first, validating that, should give you some insights into investing in the paid hotel program?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'll give you a good idea of just the overall volume that you're able to potentially get, maybe, even a little bit more, obviously, with a second placement and also a higher placement. So yeah, I think that will be good data to kind of go off of and, give you hopefully a better idea of where you need to start budget-wise.
Awesome. And we've got a couple questions, but I think these are all similar. So I'll try and phrase this in a way that you can try and touch on all of them. But what's involved in managing free booking links? What's the process look like? How much work?
Yeah, the free booking links, again, I'm speaking just from how we manage it here at rezStream. It's very seamless. The free booking links, it's just a matter of getting that connected after everything else has kind of been verified. So we need to make sure that you have a Google business list, and we need to make sure that that's playing nicely and that's hitting a kind of Google's best practices. But from an implementation standpoint past that, it's a matter of us just connecting a few things, and then boom, as long as you have your booking engine showing rates and availability, you should begin getting that additional visibility. So yeah, it's pretty seamless. And as I mentioned earlier, you don't have to worry about creating separate rate plans and occupancy and availability and all that stuff. What it is that you're promoting on your booking engine is what's going to be made available through that free booking links program for Google to be able to show in their search results.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And And Kelly, I do see that your hand is raised. I tried to unmute you, but it looks like you have another question coming through. So let me rephrase this here. And this is for you, Liz, what if you have multiple properties or locations? How can you add those to the listings? How do you approach it?
I'm not sure I'm following. So every single business that has the unique set of contact details should have their own listing. There's no way for you to have one Google business listing with multiple businesses underneath that. So again, that's where if it's a vacation rental, situation, because you have 20 different vacation rental listings and their individual homes at those individual locations, that's something that Google does not support, and you will not be able to have a Google business listing for. But if you have, true businesses that fit that hotel, bed and breakfast, boutique, whatever that might be, then you should have no problem creating individual listings for each of those.
And just to clarify, Kelly was kind of asking, does that kind of mean like one address per property, one
Yes.
business institution for one booking engine
Yes.
to connect
Yep.
to? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, those are all of the questions. Get a couple thank yous and appreciate your time and effort there, Liz. So again, for everyone, if you don't have questions now, can't think of them now, please always reach out to us. Whether you're a marketing client or not, we're here to help you. We're here to support your growth. Liz, thank you for taking time to cover this topic. Again, we will have this posted on our website. We will send you guys emails. You'll have recording copies of this as well. And don't forget about our offer here today, 20% off elite level marketing. We'd love to help you expand your business in a variety of different ways. So please reach out to us. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a good one.